Hi again, everyone. It's 5 o'clock in the East. Whether it's a side effect of the steroids he's taking as part of his coronavirus treatment or something else, Donald Trump seems to be drifting further away from reality today as his re-election chances appear to be slipping away. An NBC News average of national polls gives Joe Biden a 10-point lead over Donald Trump. And just this week, 3 polls showed Trump down by anywhere from 12 to 16 points. And the Real Clear Politics average of all the polls in key battleground states shows Joe Biden leading in, all of them. Among them, Arizona, where Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are campaigning together in Phoenix this hour and will launch their Soul of the Nation bus tour. This comes as Financial Times columnist Edward Luce warned today that if the race stays focused on the pandemic, Donald Trump is facing a blowout. Quote, "Don't be afraid of COVID" was Donald Trump's message on leaving the hospital this week. To say he was tempting fate would be an understatement. The president could not know where the disease would leave him, but he ought to know that the only way he could win re-election is by focusing on anything but the pandemic. Luce went on to write, quote, "He wants Americans to be afraid of something that does not seem particularly lethal, the radical left, yet be unafraid of a disease that has so far claimed 212,000 American lives. It does not feel like a winning strategy." And Republicans seem to be well aware of that fact, as Bob Costa reports for the Washington Post. Facing a political reckoning as Trump's support plummets and a possible blue tsunami looms, it is now conservatives and Trump allies who are showing flashes of discomfort with the president straining to stay in the good graces of his core voters without being wholly defined by an erratic incumbent. Quote, "There are cracks and fissures all over the ice," said Republican consultant and Trump critic Rick Tyler in that piece. Donald Trump's sinking political fortunes and Republicans starting to scramble for the exits is where we start this hour with some of our favorite reporters in France. The aforementioned Bob Costa, national political reporter for the Washington Post and moderator of PBS Washington Week, is here. Also with us, politics and journalism professor at Morgan State University and the Griot contributor Jason Johnson, and NBC News correspondent Heidi Presbell is here. Bob Costa, your piece is remarkable. I read it as soon as it popped online last night. You are one of the best sourced people with your finger on the sort of sense of what hasn't happened in 4 years. It didn't even happen 4 years ago this week. There was a little bit of a freak out when Access Hollywood tape came out. Reince Priebus, I think, claimed the freak out mantle, started talking about taking Trump off the ticket. They're not talking about that now, but there is a serious spoken conversation going on in Republican circles about life after Trump.
It's very muted, Nicole, and I appreciate your generous comments, but it's happening. It's something that's beginning to crack across the ice in the Republican Party, as Rick Tyler said. What you're seeing is senators like John Cornyn in Texas or Martha McSally in Arizona, or House members uneasy about the president's negotiating style on the stimulus. They're all starting to speak out in their own way on debate stages and elsewhere, and carving out their own political space, knowing they can't do too much because they need the president's core voters. They need the president's political capital to a point, but they do see in all the polling a possible blue tsunami on the horizon.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.